One of my favourite labels is the Masters of Cinema series. It is a series of films that I find is almost like a film school for people that didn't actually attend it. These are classic movies that should be checked out for one reason or another. It's a series that I have a lot of movies for. I go to now and again whenever I'm in the mood to be a little bit educated or to discover something that I didn't really know existed. Most of these movies are things I've never heard of before, but I usually blind buy them because, like I said, there is something to them, something more substantial than your typical movie. And they recently just released number 200 in the series, and that was The Last Waltz, a movie by Martin Scorsese, one of my favourite directors. And again, I knew absolutely nothing about this. I had never heard of this movie before. And it turns out that it's a kind of rockumentary. It follows the band on their last show. Again, another group I had never heard of before at all. And it's basically just all about their last gig as they are finishing up touring on the road that they've been doing for 16 years. But it's through the prism of Martin Scorsese. So he is a big fan of the band. He loves the music and he kind of instigates himself into the documentary a little bit as well, as we start to see a lot of the performances. This is mainly a concert disc, it shows you lots of songs in there interspersed every now and again with small snippets of the band just hanging out and talking. Now, like I said, I knew nothing about this putting on. I knew nothing about the band, and I was almost instantaneously captivated by what I was seeing. The music was really infectious, really fun. It's something that it's really great to discover now. Never having heard of this, I found almost all the songs to be fantastic and stuff that I would genuinely listen to, and I actually have been listening to it in the past week or so whenever I've been driving the car around. It's that kind of music that infects you. One of the other things that really works well is the small snippets of talking to the band, and it's not extremely prevalent and it's not long segments either. These are very short, to the point scenes, but it feels easygoing. It doesn't feel like an interview. It just feels like people sitting chatting. One of the guys in the band really knew Martin Scorsese, so brought him in to do this. Scorsese was doing it for free apparently, just because he loves music and loved the band, and they just sit and have conversations. And the way that they do certain takes as well, where he'll ask a question and then one of the band members will think about it and they'll be like, ask me that again. And then they do it again and they repeat it and he has the answer straight away. And it's one of these things that you would never really see done before, but it just kind of adds a sense of realism to this documentary, because you get to see them being the people that they are. And then sometimes it's almost as if they've forgotten the camera's there. They're just telling stories about life on the road and just having jokes, and you can see them all having in-jokes and fun moments, and you really get the idea of all the members of the band. And it is littered with music royalty as well, who appear all the way through the movie to help this band on their way out, on their last show, The Last Waltz. And it's a rather touching finale to this movie as well, as everybody comes on stage, and it's just a really nice moment. But there is other facets to this as well, like some of the cinematography, the way it's constructed, the way it's shot. It oozes confidence in organisation. Somebody's in there to this live show where anything can and does happen, and they are prepared. They are super prepared beyond any way that they should be, and they manage to capture the most magnificent of angles, some of the sort of key moments that just you would miss elsewhere. It just captures all these facets, and it is fantastic. This was one of these movies that I was watching and I was already excited about rewatching it later on, and I think I watched this a couple of times within a few days, just because it was so infectious. It was so infectiously fun and entertaining and just heartwarming and an interesting facet into this sort of time and age and the people that are there, and a group that I knew nothing about. It was wonderful to experience, and I'd urge anybody that, like myself, isn't a fan of kind of documentaries or concert footage type of things, especially ones that you don't really know. I'd say that this is probably the pinnacle of what I've seen of those. It adds so much more to the typical sort of movie like that kind of set. So like I said, this is the number 200 in the Eureka Masters of Cinema series. Comes with your typical armoury, and also has a 200 page booklet in it. And at the start of the movie it does say this movie should be played loud, and I agree with that, I concur. And inside this booklet you get interviews, you get lots of images about the band, you get some shots, some various things, you get some description about the way they were going to shoot things, some concept art. It's a 100-page booklet. It's one of these booklets that's easy to flick through without actually damaging. You know, some of the ones that are rigid, solid, that this you don't have it. There's some good commentaries on this as well that I've kind of touched on some of them. So you get a commentary with Martin Scorsese and Robbie Robertson, one of the main people in the band. You get another commentary with pretty much everybody in the band all there. This is the one that I haven't really listened to as yet. You get a 22.5-minute featurette which is revisiting the Last Waltz, which is really, really interesting because it touches on a couple of things. How they went about making it, and particularly on Martin Scorsese's way of filming this, how he had everything planned out, how he had all these sheets of where the shots would go depending on the song, and depending what lyrics were being said, that would be the camera that would be put together. It shows a level of organisation that you wouldn't assume would go into something like this, but it's the reason it's as good as why it is. You get archival outtakes, which are 2 hours 12 minutes, which is just, you know, songs, various different kinds of things. It's just incredible, the stuff they put on this disc, that they never actually made it into the movie itself. And you get the stills gallery and the trailer, the usual kind of things. But this for me is a real highlight. It's instantly one of my favourite Masters of Cinema movies. It's really up there in the filmography of Scorsese as well, which is unbelievable considering it's something that I hadn't even heard of before this was being released, that I'd never heard mentioned in the same breath as some of Scorsese's other material. But it's definitely well worth picking up. It's definitely well worth checking out. And like I said, at the moment it's coming in that limited set, which you don't have to go and pick out because the disc is solid enough on its own. You only get the booklet and the slipcase. But I love this set. I love this movie. It's been a real highlight, a real treat. It's one of these movies that I've just discovered this year, and I'm so grateful that I did. So if you've seen this before, I'd love to know, you know, what you thought of it. If you know the band, I'd love to know what you think their favourite songs are as well. Let me know in the comment box below, and I'll see you next time on Man vs Film.